Fear steers our ideals. I like to pretend that my intentions are guided by pride and my liberty, but honestly, it's obvious that them and us mentality has still in some way stuck to me. Headlines, lies, wage discrepancies, turmoil, spilled oil, unwanted pregnancies, terror, hate, Islamic State, Ukraine, fascist Spain, corrective rape. We are all in the thrall of compassion fatigue. Our syndrome symptoms are nationally glaring, nonchalance not so much as simply not caring, heads in phones, wearing headphones drown the sound of the world and limit your vision to screens that only show scenes that you enjoy. But ignoring a problem doesn't make it go away. Borders are force fields that only bureaucrats and ultranats believe in. Between here and there, the air is barely blown, just breathed across the seas, and when it reaches from them to me, it still carries discordant disharmony. Tasting of wasted life, of sighs and suffering, it howls in the night. Insomniacal, I howl back, attacking the geminid spectres of worry and guilt with mindfulness. Breathe in. Breathe out. Leery beasts in shadows grow bored of fangs and inconclusive forms. As Aurora creeps forward, reluctantly they resolve to return appropriately costumed, donning masks of questions asked uncomfortably, of bills and wills, sobriety, propriety, duty, judgments. I thought once I was free of these. It turned out I had nurtured alternative anxieties. If last year was the year of mock outrage, is this year the year of sincere apathy? Disempowered, disenfranchised, disinterested, and diseased, this stiff upper lip is slippery with sweat, and yet we plough on, heads bowed, backs bent, begging bowls deflecting heat. All the better to beat you with, my dear. From this disadvantage point, we focus on dropped litter, unscooped poop, and the life-changing necessity of gadgets built with slavery. When did we lose sight of reality? With a quiet kid in class, we gave them our lunch money when they asked. Right now, we're being left alone, but we know they'll be back. Attacks on disability, on obesity, on smokers, on pensioners, all in the pipeline. And in time, even you. Spurious statistics trick citizens into soul sickness. Scared of what strangers might say, they toe the line, seeking only to be allowed to survive, never even dreaming of the freedom to live. Times are hard for dreamers, but is now really the time to be dreaming? Massacres masquerade as aid, resulting in mass graves and raids, and despite all this, we still maintain that we've done nothing wrong. As long as we ignore Mrs. Do-as-you-would-be-done-by, we are living and they are dying by the bad mistakes we are making. Simple moral codes forsaken. Deserted water babies we are, gasping, gulping in the arid air. Mrs. Be-done-by-as-you-did flips the lid on thoughtless theories. Preposterous postulations applied to human populations, pushing politics, suffocating nations. Friedman economics makes slaves of man to profits. It galls me to know that both blossoms and bullets are patented with only pocket linings in mind. We click, click, click on little links as if it makes a difference. We raise awareness. They raise cities to the ground in our names. As a lifelong, tired-eyed, self-sufficient dove, I have always had faith in the power of peace and love. But I'm beginning to see the necessity of action. Funding, fueling, feuding factions is definitely not a diplomatic tactic learned at charm school. Such cruelty only stokes the hate, chokes the hope, halts the growth, and seals the fate of recipients of its offensive. And it is offensive to tell me that out of 287 plane crash victims, 8 were British, as if that's the only reason it's a tragedy. Assume the air of supremacy, for motherland knows best. These modern-day quests to slay behemoths of our own creation are an exercise in the power of misinformation. Canute now, I stand thigh-deep in blood and rage at the rising tide. Sweetness swept away in the flood. Read the bones left behind. We are all in the pall of compassion fatigue, but ignoring a problem doesn't make it go away. Breathe in. Breathe out. Resolve to return. Empowered, enfranchised, interested, and enraged. The life-changing necessity of attacks on spurious statistics seeks the freedom to live. The choices are simple moral codes. Make a difference. Stoke the hope. It's a tragedy to assume the air of supremacy. This world is our creation.